It's the new year, and many of us desire new abundance. Let me know if you can hear me, James. But Melisandre from Game of Thrones reminded us that the night is dark and full of terrors. And many ocean seafaring tales have told us that there are predators in the water. Many of us who lived through the 80s become familiar with the horror trope. The call came from inside the house. Dun dun dun. There is a Orange County punk band, and I'm going to badly paraphrase the line. I am my own worst enemy because sometimes I punch myself in the face. How do we punch ourselves in the face when it comes to manifesting? There is no biological mystery that does not clarify from the point of view or through the lens of natural selection. Evolution has selected that we have a primary set of instincts that keep us alive long enough to pass on our genetic material. Species that fail to do that do not pass on their genetic traits. Some of those traits can make perfect sense in some scenarios, but are downright destructive in other scenarios. Sadly, evolution does not select for peace or happiness. It does select for reproduction and fulfillment. Sadly, it prioritizes reproduction. This becomes evident when we look at yin and yang. When we look at the attributes of yang, we can see survival instincts run amok, taking the form of rigidity, fearfulness, controlling tendencies, elitist tendencies, cryptic tendencies, competitive tendencies, and yes, even cruel tendencies. When our manifesting efforts are hijacked by our rigid or controlling tendencies, either A, they can completely sabotage, or B, they come out rather twisted. Which is why it's imperative that if we manifest, we do so from the point of view of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Well, yeah, everyone can figure that out. That's not the mystery, Lama Jigme. What is the mystery? How the frick frack do we do that? Every time we inhale, we have an opportunity to notice not only our goals, but our obstacles. Not to do so actively, but passively, viscerally, vulnerably, and randomly. As we sit in meditation, our mind can be very much like one of those electric popcorn machines that, we can't tell which kernel is going to come up next, but we do know the bowl will invariably fill with popcorn. If we sit, the longer we sit in mindfulness, the greater the probability that thoughts of our goals and thoughts of our obstacles will come up of their own accord. smarter men than I have observed that when we if we observe a butterfly wrestling with its chrysalis, if with the best of intentions we cut them free from the chrysalis, we doom them to an agonizing death. Similarly, when we take charge of our brain and try to decide which goals we're going to look at and which obstacles we're going to look at, we are, with the best of intentions, murdering our goals. How gross is that? How creepy is that? But the key is, as we sit in meditation and and this is a skill, and we get better and better at it. We are originally wired by evolution to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Well, you might ask, so what? I notice my goals, I notice my obstacles. How does that help me with protection from obstacles? How does it help me with acquisition of goals? And by the way, protection and acquisition sounds like it's a mafioso law firm, doesn't it? Yeah, kid, that's an awful nice goal you got there. It would be a pity if something happened to it. Every time we exhale, we are wired by natural selection to physically relax. And that physical relaxation acts as a carrier wave upon which mental release can surf. So we're wired already to effortlessly physically relax and mentally release. So we were relaxing our grasp upon our obstacles, and we are releasing and relaxing into the acquisition of our goals. Now, you could say, well, it hasn't happened quick enough. Well, things can happen, not necessarily in the way we think they should, not necessarily in the timetable we think they should, because not only are we less than omnipotent, we are less than omniscient. And so there's a wonderful joke from the show me tradition of Missouri. Let me know if you've heard this one before. You show me a self-made man, and I'll show you the Frankenstein monster. When we try to control the variables in our life, instead of getting an Adonis, we get a bargain basement special. I know that's been my problem in the past. Like many adult survivors of child abuse, we are just convinced the universe and all its denizens are out to get us because that's been our experience. Our experience has been cruelty and negligence, malice and indifference. And so the sad propensity is for those of us who have weathered malice and who have weathered indifference to be conditioned by it. Fortunately, the same inhalation that can notice our goals and the obstacles to those goals can also notice our toxic preconceptions. And remember, inhalation and exhalation are a team. I've never met a thriving organism that only did one or the other. So every time we notice something, a fraction of a second later, when we relax, we have an opportunity to release it. And believe it or not, that's the most efficient way to process things. Now, I'm going to take a moment once again to continue with my hobby of insulting your intellect. We live in an interdependent universe where we affect things, but we're also affected by things. That's why lifestyles are so important. Lifestyle choices are so important. You know, getting enough rest, fresh air, sunshine, exercise, whole food, vegan cuisine, and the like. So, what we do, what we drink, what we eat affects our body, our brain, our mind, and our ability to dance with it, with energy fields, if you will. Some of the things we can eat or drink can enhance our experience of mindfulness and meditation, and other things can hobble them. Back, I guess it was the 90s that not Kevin Spacey, but Kevin Bacon was in the movie called Alcatraz. And oh, Gary Oldman was such a villain in that movie. And they basically brainwashed Kevin Bacon's character and turned him into a murderer. Similarly, what we do and drink and eat can enhance our ability to notice and release, or twist our ability to notice and release. So, contrary to popular opinion, I am not remotely omniscient. I don't know what kind of recreational substances will have the specific effects they will have on anyone at any given time, at any given hour. None of us can, but we can be observant. And when we take a substance, we can notice the effect. Does it feed our paranoia? Does it undermine our ability to notice? Does it undermine our ability to process? Does it undermine our ability to let go? Or does it help it along? Does it help it along in the short term or the long term? Is it consistently helpful or only intermittently helpful? Is it consistently destructive or only intermittently destructive? Life is complex. If anyone tells you that life is simple, they're most likely trying to sell you something. So please indulge me while I tie this up in a big red bow. The easiest way to screw up our goals is to be rigid and controlling. Our best chance of receiving either what we want or something better, in harmony with a timetable that is exactly what we want or better, is for us to traverse the path of yin, the path of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Everything affects everything. What we eat, what we drink, what we do, how we do it, and when we do it affects our ability to notice and release. Success leaves clues. Failure leaves clues. Now here's the funny thing. We don't gotta figure that out. If every 12 hours we sit in meditation and we do it well, distinctions and correlations will come up and present themselves to us, which is really convenient. I look forward to meditating with you after approximately 40 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, and reverse engineering all the techniques and teachings of every sect of Buddhism, so you won't have to. I play the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker so that you can quickly and easily become the person that your dog already thinks you are. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Look at that rogues gallery. Now I think, yes, what I'd like to do is hit button 14. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Let's try that again. Let's hit button 14 and hit supplement and hit Ooh, I need to open up a text. Well, that's okay. I can fix that. Let's go back to button 5. Let's take a moment to review the basic instructions for mindfulness meditation. As I mentioned during the lesson, mindfulness is easy. Every time we inhale, we access our sympathetic nervous system, which is wired not for active concentration, but to simply perceive and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. As is illustrated by the 12-syllable recitation perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. What are some of mind's antics? Mind sees, hears, feels, tastes, smells, and the like. Internally, mind emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. What are we to do with all this stuff? We're to meditate upon it. But how does that work? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release due to the workings of our parasympathetic nervous system, as is explained in exhalation's 12-syllable recitation, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Non-graspable is just a metaphor for the visceral experience we have every time we relax into our exhalation. Allow me to illustrate. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during the previous inhalation could now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. It could feel as if it was as non-graspable as if it was birthless or deathless or selfless. These are fun figures of speech, which are useful if we view them as such, and difficult if we view them as literal statements. And now, let's turn to tonight's practice text. And it opens with a rogues gallery. Look at these mugs. This fellow here is the author of the late author of this text. He lived in the 1800s. This fellow here is the translator, and this bloke is the guy who adapted it and amplified it to the best of his ability. We're going to play with calling the Lama from afar. Together. Oh, Monsieur Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. Oh, Monsieur Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. Oh, Monsieur Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. So remember, there's nothing wrong with the thought of a goal making your mouth water. So it's not a question of goals are bad. The question is, what path do we take to facilitate a goal? And goals are like kitty cats, aren't they? Because if you scream at a cat to come out from its hiding place, it will perform the feline equivalent of giving you the finger. But if you speak to the kitty cat in warm tones and then theatrically walk away from the hiding place of the kitty cat, and then make a theatrically in the kitchen, make the noises associated with you preparing the cat's favorite food, the cat will present themselves to you. We don't have to tear open the cat's hiding place unless we want, the experience of a furry running food processor tearing us up. Similarly, We practice the path of yin, the path of allowing. Let's meditate. By the way, James, thank you for asking me such a compelling question this morning. Love your questions. If you have trouble reading this font, let me know. Allow me to remind you, it is not a sin for us to allow our mind to be turbulent. To notice our mind is turbulent and to deal with it effectively is not something we do in preparation to traverse the Buddhist path. It is the path. Oh, of course, James, you are utterly welcome. Together. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. We might not have a closet full of gold bricks. Our face might not adorn the copy of Gentleman's Quarterly, but we do have enough good fortune to learn these spiritual tools. And if we're not careful, we might just feel gratitude. Be careful. Gratitude's gonna get you if you don't watch out. We switch gears now from the 12-syllable exercise to the 3-syllable version of the same exercise. It has been said by folks smarter than me that gratitude lubricates the wheels of manifesting. Not contrived gratitude, spontaneous gratitude. I found that the more I meditate effectively, the more exuberant my gratitude becomes, to the point of me being annoying. There's a better word than annoying, and it might come to me later. It begins with the letter I. Whatever scarcity we experience, isn't permanent. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. And again, we switch gears to the one-syllable cruising altitude of mindfulness and meditation. We live in an interdependent universe, which means there are things we can do to protect ourselves from obstacles. There's things we can do to allow ourselves to be protected from obstacles. There are things we can do to allow ourselves to acquire our goals. This is one of them. Together. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The three realms we experience are some sort of an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience are some sort of like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience are some sort of like an ocean of suffering. Recognizing our stresses makes us more empathetic to other people's experience of stresses. Remembering this, may my mind turn toward Dharma. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. Let us exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, take two. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body, wealth, and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body, wealth, and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body, wealth, and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. We turn now to Tokal, the first set of tantras, figurative contemplations. I should say the first of 2 sets. Doge Samba, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Vajra Sattva. Now, can I do this without blowing out the formatting? Let's find out. So far, so good. I'll hit this. And go back to this, and with a dash of that. Cowabunga. As we relax into take 2. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the infinite, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although compelling to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. Why, thank you, Brock. How very kind of you to say. We're going to play with what some people nickname the 4 visions. Come, let us leapfrog over circumstantial clinging. Oh yeah, it's totally simple, and when you download this text, the instructions are totally easy to learn. It kind of works like this. Allow me to walk you through it, if I might. Excuse me. But of course, I must subject you to jumbo face. So, here's how we go. I touch the tip of my right middle finger. Go into crotch cam. Okay. I touch the tip of my right middle finger to the base of my left index finger. I touch the tip and then I hold it down. I touch the tip of my left middle finger to the base of my right index finger. Hold that down. My 2 ring fingers make out. I touch the tip of my right little finger to the gap between my left ring and little fingers, and I hold that down with my thumb. I take my left little finger and slide it down to the base of my right little finger, hold it down with my thumb. And there you go. Now you can impress friends and family. I hope that was helpful. If not, you can just, drag the indicator bar and watch it a couple times, and you will master it in a few days. Okay. Let us leapfrog over our circumstantial clinging. So we're going to play with a verbal, extensive rhetorical question and a silent, concise counterpart. How is it that as we inhale our comic, lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid? Yet as we relax into a purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. So we're using wordplay to say that as we breathe, as we relax into our exhalation, the illusion of karma is purified in non-graspability. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the rather concise version of that rhetorical question. And as we relax into our exhalation, we can chant the 6-syllable mantra. Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum Vajra Sattva Hum. What's that you say, James? Circumstance ain't to your liking? Fortunately, you can let go of it. We come to the second vision's leapfrog over physical clinging. How is it that as we inhale our calmic bodies... Take two. How is it that as we inhale our calmic bodies, our forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined archetype or yidam of light. What's that? You say your body ain't to your liking? Fortunately, haha, you can let go of it. Om Vajra Sattva 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 We come to the third visions, leapfrog over interpersonal clinging. What's that? There are facets of your relationships you don't like? Haha, let's release them. How is it that as we inhale the interpersonal experience of karmic communication, all speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, it could feel as not graspable as a real or imagined mantra of light. Om Vajra Sarva 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 What's that? You say there are certain emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, or imaginings that you don't particularly care for. Fortunately, you can release them. Together. How is it that as we inhale, we could perceive mind's karmic functions clearly? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as not graspable as a real or imagined seed-settable hum of light. Om Vajra Sarva 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 together. Dissolving into light diamond, my mother and father blend with me an experience of oneness. Dissolving into light diamond, my mother and father blend with me an experience of oneness. Dissolving into light diamond, my mother and father blend with me an experience of oneness. One more time. Dissolving into light diamond, my mother and father blend with me an experience of heart's oneness. I am like an altar in the sky in front of me. My rude Lama appears in the form of Padmakara. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the three times most excellent rude Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the Buddha bless me always throughout the three times. We come now to Tokal's second of two sets of Tantra's figurative contemplations. What's that? You say there's some things in your life that you like, or some things in the future in your life you might like. Both of these things can be shared with others. If not directly, then indirectly. If not physically, then merely intentionally. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune, or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, Perlando Vanti. Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri. Welcome to this evening's live stream. If at any point you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri. Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri. Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri Mahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri. Let us seal this evening's practice with a bit of the old chanting. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.